Yo, is this thing on? Hey, what up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back once again. Hope you guys are having a lovely day or night. Yeah, so today I figured I would just do a ranking of all the bosses in DS2. Stay tuned for the next one, the next tier list video, which is going to be ranking all my builds. And without further ado, hope you guys enjoy. Let's get to the ranking. Here we go. It's about damn time. It's been so long. Gotta stay hydrated. Alright, so we got 6 list, whatever. Got the top being Absolute Cinema, of course, which is like S tier. We got A tier, B tier, C tier, D tier, and trash, which is like self-explanatory. So I also got a list of like criterias. Yeah, so I'm gonna base the ranking off of the challenge / difficulty. The harder, the higher the ranking for me personally. It's also based off of how fun it is, of course. The run back, the harder, the lower the ranking, because that's just annoying, honestly. The benefit and gain, which I might not include as much because it's going to be kind of tough to go through all the benefits you get from each boss. Of course, the design, which includes like the, the boss arena. It's not going to be too complicated or detailed. There's going to still be some bias to it, but I'm going to try to be fair, Okay, first on the list we have is Aava, Avocado. I'm going to say he's a solid A tier. Pretty fun boss, pretty cool boss. The design of Aava is incredible. The challenge is there in case you wanted to fight him while he's invisible. You could do that as well. It's pretty fun. The run back is super easy. So yeah, he's a pretty cool boss. I'm gonna say low A tier, so I'll move it around for sure. Next we got Aldia, the man himself, Scholar of the First Sin. You know what? He's a pretty cool concept for a boss. The design is there. He's pretty challenging. You don't really get much benefit from him. Like there's no huge benefit from killing Aldia except for the secret ending or the the dark ending, whatever. You don't get a soul. I feel like it'd be B tier if he gave you a soul, which you can trade for a weapon. I feel like they missed out on that. So I'm gonna keep him like high C tier, low key. No, I think B tier is more fair on a second thought. All right, next Ancient Dragon. He's a tough nut. It's hard to do damage against him, but I'm gonna put him in C tier. Because the actual fight is kind of tedious, it's kind of annoying. You're pretty much just clipping his damn toenails for the entire fight. If you want to fight him, like if you want to hit his head, you're gonna have a hard time because he moves a lot and the attack's kind of hard to dodge, especially if he just keeps flying up and breathing fire. But his design is really cool. He's like one of the coolest looking dragons, honestly, in the Soul series. So and he's huge. You don't have to fight him either way. He's an optional boss, so maybe just because he's optional, I'll put him in B as well. Because you don't have to fight him. Unless, obviously, you wanted the extra soul of the giant to fight Vendrick. Alright, so next, we got the damn Gargoyles, the knockoff TS1, folks. This fight is just D tier. I wouldn't even be mad at you if you put it in trash tier. I would not be mad. It's whatever. I feel like if it was just 2 of them, like if they did the exact same thing they did in Dark Souls 1, just by, I mean, it would be kind of like lazy if they did the same shit, but I feel like it would have been better at that point if there was just 2 of them, because then it would have been a cool, you know what I mean, like a commemoration to DS1. People would have been like, oh, it's all right. Like if you have a good build, then they're all right. But if you're like lacking in damage, good luck. They're all gonna gank up on you, and it's a nightmare. So, but the design is there. The arena is pretty cool. Next, Blue Smelter Demon, A tier. I'm gonna do A tier as well. He's like an upgrade from Red Smelter Demon. He's really cool. Really nice design. He's a lot harder. His attacks are like more delayed or faster, so the arena is really nice. The run back is absolutely atrocious, however. Well, actually, it's not even that bad. Like I can show a clip right now of like me doing the run back. It's not that bad. It's honest to God, you can pretty much do it without killing a single enemy. You might get hit a couple of times, but if you have some mushrooms, some Elizabeth mushrooms, or like plenty of life gems, you should be fine. So the run back is not as bad as people think it is. It's not like Reindeer Valley or whatnot. So all right, next, Burnt Ivory King. That's a no-brainer. That's a no-brainer. Absolute cinematic boss fight. The boss itself, the arena, leading up to it, like the whole concept of like freeing the knights so they can come help you out during the boss fight and seal the doors, so you don't have to worry about the burnt knights coming out and fighting you while you're fighting the boss. The concept was peak, and the actual boss himself, Ivory King, he's so much fun. He has a second phase. His design, his attacks, I mean, he's literally one of the icons of DS2. Covetous Demon, he's kind of a cute guy, I'm not gonna lie. But as a boss, and this is tough, bro. I want to put all of them in absolute cinematic tier because I love this game so much. But I'm gonna put Covetous Demon in C. I think it's a solid C tier. C for Covetous, get it? Not bad. But now he's a solid boss. He's a solid boss. It's pretty easy. The run back is easy. The design is pretty cool. I mean, it's basically just Jabba the Hutt, but he's a pretty fun guy. Honestly, I don't mind him at all. I never really had any trouble with him. I don't think anybody else either. What if he had a second phase where he split into two? That'd be crazy. I would put him in A tier at that point, but they weren't thinking that crazy when they were making DS2, and they weren't on some Elden Ring shit. So they kept it basic, they kept it simple, and that's what makes it beautiful. That's what makes it a lot of fun. Darklurker, Loki's either cinematic or A tier. I think Darklurker is a very unique boss, so I'm gonna put him in absolute cinema. I think it's actually a really fun boss fight, and the more you do it, the more fun it becomes. Honest to God, first time around, it is an absolute nightmare. I'm not gonna lie, it's an absolute nightmare, especially when she splits into two, she clone jutsus. Then it is kind of atrocious. But if you have the damage and you know what you're doing, you know their attacks, it's actually pretty fun. And the design is there. The run back is not even that bad. As long as you're saving the one in King's Gate last, the Abyss, that's like the easiest one to access. And it's honestly pretty challenging. It's a pretty challenging boss fight, especially for DS2. I'm like moving my camera. I need to stop doing that. Sorry in advance. I'm like moving this shit. What we got next? We got Seaman of Dong. Seaman of Dong's pretty fun boss. Pretty nice design. The arena is beautiful. The environment is very nice. He's honestly a lot of fun to fight. He's very satisfying to like poke at for some reason. I don't know. I'm gonna put him in A tier. It's pretty fun. Pretty cool guy. And his design is like unlike any other. When he closes his shell, basically just gives you time to like readjust yourself or recover stamina. So he's pretty fun. Yeah. Dragonrider, and like his design is brilliant. I like it a lot. But the actual fight, I mean the one in the Heights Flame at least, he's just too easy. I don't know. He's a very easy, beginner friendly early game boss, you know what I mean? So low-key C tier as well. He's not that bad. He's pretty fun. He's a pretty cool guy. The boss arena is cool because you can activate the contraptions so you don't fall off. So that's cool. I like how you can like change the outcome of the boss fight before you even enter the boss fight, you know what I mean? So all right, next we got Elana. Elana I think is a solid A tier, you know what I mean? She's basically like a harder Nashandra, to be honest. She summons the skeletons, the pigs, even Velstadt. Like seeing her summon Velstadt for the first time was honest to God crazy. Like the arena, the design, everything is pretty peak, honestly. She's kind of easy, but that's if you bum rush her. If you're lacking damage, then she's definitely gonna summon in time, and that's gonna give you some trouble. But you know, it's challenging. That's what Dark Souls is all about. So it's fun, you know. Yeah. So Dami Mommy Elana, A tier. Executioner, terrible run back. It's not even like that bad in terms of getting hit. It's mostly just like the duration of how long it takes. I wish there was a closer bonfire. I wish they put like a ladder in front of the bonfire in that middle area you have to jump towards, and like the one under the bridge, you can climb up top of the ladder to, you know, as a shortcut to get to the bridge and make your way to the boss fight, which they did that in the Bear of the Curse mod, which was genius. So shout outs to them. That was amazing. I think low C tier. Yeah, the design is cool, the boss is cool, the actual fight leading up to it is kind of goofy with all the skeletons and the sorcerers resummoning the skeletons if you don't kill them, which I think is a cool concept though. Because like at first you're like, okay, I killed them and they come back to life, so what do I do? Then you see the damn sorcerer in the damn corner, and you're like, okay, you know, you kind of connect the dots and realize that you have to kill them so they don't come back to life. So it's pretty fun fight because it's different. So, but it's nothing crazy. But the actual executioners is all right, you know what I mean? So all right, next we got Flexile Sentry. Flexile Sentry. He's not a D tier. He's not that bad. Not even bad in general. He's just all right, you know. He's just there. I think he's a solid C. I wouldn't be generous enough to put him in B tier. I think he's solid C. Is he better than? He's definitely better than Executioners. Is he better than Yeah, definitely better than Dragonrider. Is he better than Covetous Demon? No, but his concept is cool. There's two of them basically. The actual design, the boss, and the idea behind him is really interesting. The arena is pretty cool. And you know how the water rises the longer the fight goes on, the water keeps rising and rising and you eventually die. I don't think there's a single person on the planet who actually never killed him in time for the water to rise all the way up to kill them. But the idea is there and it's kind of cool. Better than Covetous Demon? I don't know. Covetous Demon also has like cool designs in his boss arena. You know, you can shoot Clyde in the pot to free him up, and then basically when you shoot him, Covetous Demon goes after him, so it gives you time to like hit him a couple of times. I mean, when he's actually doing the grabbing attack animation, they get bosses in this game get damage reduction when they do the grab attack. But there's a period, there's like a 2 to 3 second period after he eats Clyde, the hollow undead. You can basically just attack him for free for 2 to 3 seconds before he actually recovers, because he just ate Clyde, so he has food coma. I get the same thing too when I eat. I can't move for a little bit. So Flexile, you're just racing against the clock. There's no really huge advantage. All right, yeah. And next, Fume Knight. That's a no-brainer. Is he better than Ivory King is the question. The boss arena, low-key, it's not better. Honestly, for these bosses, I'm gonna go down my criteria list. I think they deserve it. So, all right. So the first one's challenge. Which one's more challenging? Ivory King, 100% Ivory King. That means he's higher. That means he's better. Which one's more fun? It just depends on what you consider fun. If you were to consider fighting the knights leading up to the Ivory King coming out fun, then you would put him higher. If you consider that annoying, then you would put him lower. To me, it's not even a nuisance anymore. So I would consider him more fun, to be honest. Actually, I don't know. But I'm not gonna lie, hitting Fume Knight is a lot more satisfying than hitting Ivory King. So I think they're both neck and neck in terms of how fun they are. All right, then we got the run back. The run back for Fume Knight is way better. Obviously, the bonfire is right there. The benefit or gain from Ivory King low-key is better because you kill the knights, which also give you souls. His weapon is cool, but so is Fume Knight's. And then last we have design. That's all. Why do I gotta do this? I gotta compare the two. They're so good. I don't even want to compare them. They're both equally as cool looking, you know what I mean? They're both got like one of the dopest looking armor sets in the games. Overall design, I can't compare. They're really neck and neck, honestly. They kind of went crazy with the DLC bosses in this game. I think Ivory King takes the cake, not gonna lie. Personally, me, I'm not being biased actually, because me personally, I like Fume Knight more, but I'm gonna keep Ivory King above Fume Knight. Next, we got the damn Gank Squad. I don't think anybody would be mad, right? The actual boss fight, it's kind of easy if you think about it, especially if you have a good weapon. It's just kind of whatever. Like, they could have done better. If it was a DLC boss, they actually had extra time to think about it. I'm gonna go with trash. I'm gonna go with trash. Not even gonna lie, bro. This fight is fucking useless. You don't even get a soul either. You get like 3 petrified dragon bones and 3 twinkling Tie-Knights and the Tie-Knight slap after you kill them, which at that point in the game, it's like whatever. You know what would have been cool? If you got them all low and they all fused and it grew to like this quarter, 33% Havel, 33% Aava or Alva Knight, and 33% Bow and Arrow dude, and they all just fused, kind of like Flexile Sentry. But instead of 2 people, it was 3 people. It's because I've been playing Night Rain, so I'm expecting. I can't ask for that because this came out in like 2016. Back then they weren't on that crazy shit back then. If they were to release DS2 today, they'd probably do some shit like that. But for what it was at the time it came out, it was pretty challenging. But like, it was just a nuisance, so I'm gonna leave it in trash, honestly. Giant Lord, yeah, S tier. This boss is a fucking blessing to DS2. Oh my god, especially for beginner players. I mean, more specifically, the bonfire ascetic being in the boss arena is a blessing, because you can just kill him, burn ascetic, and that respawns the ascetic in the arena, so you can just rinse and repeat and never run out of ascetics, and you can just continuously farm him. The design is pretty cool. I like the way he looks. Like, challenging wise, he could have been harder for sure, because he's pretty easy once you like know his patterns, but everything else checks out. Guardian Dragon's pretty mid. I mean, you see him a couple of times in the early game. You know, you see him in Highest Flame, and the fight himself, he's pretty annoying when he flies up a lot and just breathes fire. Nah, he's like a C tier. He's like I would even put him lower than Executioners. If we didn't see him like early on in Highest Flame, and if he wasn't as annoying in breathing fire, you know, he did more like ground attacks like Sinh. I feel like Sinh is a lot less annoying. He can be annoying depending on the RNG, but Sinh tends to stick on the floor, I think, a little bit more than Guardian Dragon, honestly. Unless you just go to his feet, then he keeps on stomping. But there's times where I'm at his fucking chicken legs and he just still flies up. So all right, next we got Vendrick Lamar. He's a solid A tier. He's got a cool design, cool arena, The run back's pretty easy, honestly. It just takes a little bit of time, but the ideas behind them are really cool. You know, you need the 5 souls of a giants to deal the most damage. If you have none, you do no damage. So I feel like that's pretty fun. There's not a single other boss in this game that requires you to, you know what I mean? Like there's not much bosses in the Soul series that have like contingencies to make the fight easier. So I think he's really nice in that aspect. I'm gonna put him above Smelter Demon. You expect him to hit only once, and then he slowly comes back around and fucking swings at you again. And then he does like a third one too, I'm pretty sure, after that. So he could be pretty crazy, and it's honestly pretty challenging. So I respect that. Yeah. All right, and last giant. I think last giant's a pretty solid beginner friendly boss. I'm gonna put him in A tier at the bottom. He's a pretty fun boss, honestly. He's pretty solid early game, fun boss. And I'm also putting him in A tier because he's kind of essential towards getting an infusion, one of the greatest concepts in the game. You know, you need to kill him to get the soldier's key, to make your way to Pursuer, kill Pursuer, and then take the bird to fly over to the Lost Bastille, whatever. Get the key, get the Dull Ember. That's for Scholar, however. So I think for Scholar, he would be A tier. For Vanilla, he's not as important for the Dull Ember. You don't really need him for the Dull Ember. So you probably put him in like B or C tier. But I think just because of that, it's like a huge gain because infusions are so goated in DS2 for most weapons at least. Disregarding all of that, he's just a pretty cool boss. You know, he has a cutscene, and you know he rips out his arm second phase. I still have like so much fun fighting against him, especially putting my build together first before fighting him, and then just going back to him and like obliterating him. It's the most satisfying thing ever. So Looking Glass Knight is low-key S tier. Not even low-key, high-key. This guy's amazing. His design, the arena, his attacks, his difficulty, like he's pretty fair. I never have like a super easy time against him. It's always either like there's times I get cooked because he just like throws me off with his delays and with his attacks. I still to this day have trouble dodging his like lightning attacks sometimes. His design and the environment's design is one of the best in the entire game. And you know, you can summon the damn phantoms with the shield if you don't kill him enough, if you don't kill him fast enough. And the whole concept of like an online player can invade you like that, so they can come out of the shield, the mirror shield, and fight you, and which is absolutely terrifying. I can't even imagine going through that and a real person going after you and chasing you down while Looking Glass Knight is also doing the same thing. DS2 I think is very underrated in the sense that the bosses had very cool concepts and ideas that are overlooked in my opinion. I don't think there's a single game or a single boss in any other Souls game where you can invade the player during the boss fight, you know what I mean? Like, that's so cool. So I'm putting him above Darklurker. In terms of a boss, he's definitely above Giant Lord. Because I don't want to base it more on the benefit and gain. I want to base it on the boss fight itself. All right, next we got Lost Sinner. I like Lost Sinner a lot. The run back's kind of long and atrocious, but the fight, the design, the boss, the arena, you can light up the flames on the left and right to add like a little bit of lighting. They were smart in making her a Great Lord boss because she deserves that like credit. She deserves that spot because she's pretty fun and she's challenging too. Like it's honestly hard to dodge her attacks when you have no adaptability. You have to time it perfectly. So I'm gonna say A tier. And of course her weapon, the whole idea behind that, not killing any NPCs. Because when you don't sin, you do more damage on the weapon. I can get into like incredible detail regarding each boss's weapon and how beneficial they are, or like, you know, significant or interesting or different. But I'm not gonna get too in depth with that because yeah, no, that's a lot more complicated. All right, we got Lud Zallen next. Damn fucking kitty cats. Okay, let's get one thing straight. The damn worst run back in the entire series. Okay, let's get that straight. But disregarding that, the actual boss fight is crazy in difficulty, but it's kind of fun though. Like I thoroughly enjoy it now. Having two of them go at me allows me to lock in, start fucking dodging some crazy attacks, start pulling off some crazy shit. So it's fun for me personally, but that's because I played a lot. But as a first time playing experience, this boss fight took me fucking forever. Honestly, for this one, it comes down to like me personally. I feel like it's a little bit biased towards it for me. If I was doing this video like back in 2016, I would have put them in like trash or D tier. But I'm gonna put like high C tier. I think that's fair. High C tier. Next, big booty Mytha. Where am I gonna put this fine and dandy lady? I might put her in B because big booty. But on the real, I don't know. Is she an A tier? She's cool boss. She's a pretty fun boss. The design is cool. Can the camera stop moving? The arena is pretty cool with the poison all around, and you can like obviously once again change it. So this is once again showing how the DS2 had a lot of interactions that you can make to change the boss arena to your advantage, which once again deserves more credit. So if you don't burn whatever the windmill, then the whole arena is flooded in poison, and it's not that bad even if you don't do it. But once again, you can do it to make the fight go by a little bit easier so you don't get poisoned. I think she's solid B tier. Yeah, I'm not going to get too into detail with her. I think that's pretty solid B tier. She better than Ancient Dragon? Probably, yeah. She better than Aldia? I would say so too. Yeah, I'm going to put her at the front of B tier. Alright, next, Nashandra. Is she better than Mytha? Probably, yeah. She's a very solid final boss. Maybe a little bit too easy, but not really. And, you know, her design is incredible. Absolutely terrific. Her weapon's really cool. Like, compared to like Soul of Cinder from DS3, for an example, obviously she doesn't compare. That guy's way cooler. I think she's very fitting for Dark Souls 2. Like, she just looks so gritty and like dark and ominous, and she's like the embodiment of Dark Souls 2. Just the way she looks. There's nothing much else to say. Next, old Dragonslayer, aka Ornstein. No Smo. If there was Smo, I would have put him in A tier. That would have been crazy if they brought him back. I don't even care. I think no one would have complained, right? If we saw like another Smo. I think I'll put him in B tier before Mytha. Mytha is more unique. He's like the dark version of Ornstein, because Ornstein had lightning in DS1, and now he has dark in DS2. The run back is not that bad if you kill the dragon, which you have to anyways to get to him, so it's honestly not that bad, because the knights along the way, you can pretty much just ignore them. Is the Ornstein from DS1 harder than the DS2 Ornstein? I don't know. You guys will have to let me know down in the comments. What do you guys think? Alright, next we got Old Iron King, our second Great Lord boss so far. I think he's one of my favorite Great Lord bosses. Very cool concept, where he comes out of the lava. The cutscene's awesome. The pit in the middle of the arena is kind of annoying though, but it also adds a little bit of challenge, because without it, like a lot of the mods seal it, they seal it off, and the fight just becomes instantly a lot more easier. Because just having that object in your way eliminated, knowing you can just like stay against a wall in the back and not fall off, is a lot more reassuring. I mean, I'm not saying I like it, but the actual boss himself, Old Iron King, is pretty easy. That I think it's fair to add it there. Like I think that was their mindset behind putting it there, because they knew the boss was kind of easy. Because you know he's kind of slow. He just the flame he does out of his hand is super easy to dodge. But it's just a flame breath attack. If you have no adaptability and you dodge that, hats off to you, because sometimes I can't even do it. His design alone is like S tier, absolute cinema tier. I think he's solid A tier, solid. I'll put him. No, actually no. I'll put him in front of Elana. The question is he better than Aava? You could say he's better than Aava. I think I'll leave Aava above though. All right, next we got Pursuer. People say, oh, they duplicated him. They put him everywhere in Lost Bastille, but I think that kind of adds to his character and his name, the Pursuer. He's always pursuing you. Because you see him once right outside of Cardinal Tower on the platform above. So you can either kill him there or fight him in his arena. And then you got to Lost Bastille, and all around he's everywhere. So he just keeps on coming back, and it just adds to his it adds to his character. I think that's really cool. And I definitely want to see him in the future Night Rain DLC, like as a raid boss. Because you know we have Margit who raids you. You got Augur, you know, Sentient Pest, Libra. I think it'd be cool if Pursuer was a raid boss. He just spawns right in front of you, and then he just keeps on chasing you. You kill him like 3 times, and then he goes away permanently, and you get like a power gain, or just as like a day 1 boss. So that's one thing I'm hoping for Night Rain, and bring some more DS2 content back to it, you know, as well as DS1 and DS3, of course. Right now they only added 2 bosses from each game, so I think there's room for more, 100%. But yeah, Pursuer, solid A tier. Now where in A tier? I don't think he's better than Lost Sinner, but he's better than Demon of Song, that's for sure. Next, Royal Rat Authority. What do you guys think, huh? No, I don't think he's trash. He's not as annoying as the gank fight, honest to God. That's just me. That's my personal opinion at the end of the day. If you were to say he's even more annoying, I wouldn't even hold you accountable for that. That's pretty valid, because it all comes down to the mini rats, the ones that toxic you. And there's like 4 of them, or yeah, there's like 4 of them. But I find that just running in there with your sword or whatever the hell you got, just running in there doing a running attack, yeah, pretty much takes them out quickly, because they all just kind of like jump at you. And like if you swing at the right time, you could pretty much wipe them all out in one swing or two swings, so it's not that bad. And then pretty much once the mini rats are dead, you're just alone with Royal Rat Authority. It's pretty easy. It's just like a rinse and repeat cycle. If you just stick by his feet, hit him, it's pretty easy. Yeah. Now, as for his design, yeah, it's pretty cool. It's nothing crazy, nothing up there. It's basically just like a knockoff, ugly Sif. But his arena is pretty nice. It's pretty spacious too, so that's what I like about it. If it was smaller, it would have been awful. The bonfire is right outside the fog gate. That's one thing I enjoyed about it too, honestly. Because if you have a hard time with him or whatever, you don't have to run back a long distance. The fog gate is right next to the bonfire, so it's not as bad. Royal Rat Vanguard, however, why? Worse than Royal Rat Authority. Not in terms of difficulty, but overall, it's just kind of boring. You're just fighting a bunch of rats, like basic ass enemies, and then 6ix9ine spawns in, who's a little bit more tanky and funky looking with the mohawk. That's about it. It can be tough if he hits you, because he can low-key like petrify you in 2 hits. It's definitely worse than the gank fight too. It's just not as fun. That's why. Like, I have more fun fighting the gank fight. I don't know what they were smoking when they made him. They didn't want to make too many good bosses in DS2, so they had to like balance it out with some shitty ones. Next, Ruined Sentinels. Ooh, I like this boss so much. Their design, the whole idea, the whole, 3 of them. Their attacks are satisfying. It's satisfying to hit them. They're once again another early game boss for beginners to get a feel of what DS2 is going to be like with the ganks. You can get ganked in Looking Glass Knight. You get ganked with Darklurker because there's 2 of them eventually. Lud Zallen, there's 2 of them. Executioners is a gank. Yeah. Gargoyles, Royal Rat Authority, Vanguard, Gank Squad, Ruined Sentinel. So there's a pattern with DS2. It's just how it is. All right. I don't complain about it. I just enjoy it for what it is. I think like a solid B or A tier. Now I think A is a little bit too generous. They're not that good. Definitely B tier. I'd put them above. I'd even put them above Ornstein. Yeah, they're fun to fight in my personal opinion, and they're not that bad. Now we got Scorpioness Najka, aka knockoff Quayleg. I think she's a solid B tier. I wouldn't be too generous to say she's an A tier. She's not that good. I'd probably put her before Ruined Sentinels. Yeah, I think she's more fun than Ornstein, that's for sure. She's fun to fight, and you can chop off her tail. She goes underground, and you go to that little branch in the corner, and she breaks it. You get a free item. I think it's like a flame butterfly. Unfortunately, if it was something cool, that'd been nice. But I mean, it's basically Quayleg, but as a scorpion. I mean, there's no better way to put it. It's like a better sentient pest, honest to God. If you're fighting her face on, she can be tough because she throws her fangs at you, and then she swings her spear or whatever, and it's kind of hard to dodge. I don't know why. I've always had trouble dodging them. But if you just stick to her side, she does the tail attack, and you get like a bunch of free hits off on her without having to roll. And she's pretty fun. I don't know. I like her a lot. I enjoy her a lot. There's like a few bosses in this game that I look forward to more than others, but she's definitely one of them. All right, next we got Sinh, another DLC boss. If you were to ask me this once again 10 years ago or whatever, back in 2016, I would have said like D tier or C tier, but I like him now. He's a lot of fun. He's not as annoying as Guardian Dragon in my opinion. Yeah, and he's a cool looking boss, Got a damn York spear piercing right through him. But I don't know. I just like him a lot, honestly. Like he's kind of grown on me. I think I'll put him before Nashandra. Yeah, he has a really cool design. I don't know. And his arena is like cinema tier. Yeah, I love it so much. The waterfalls and whatnot, the pillars. It's very spacious. All right, next. Obviously, like what? I'm kidding. This guy. Okay, hold on. Without a shred of a doubt, one of the most iconic bosses, characters, whatever, in the Souls franchise. This guy is so cool. I wish I was him. The hard part for me, putting him over either Fume Knight or Sir Alonne. Once again, I'm going to go over the criterias because I think these guys are the big 3. They're the big 3 of DS2. They're the face of DS2. So I think going over the criteria is more important than ever for these 3 guys. The running back, not that bad. I'm going to be real. I'll show a video right now, me doing the run back. It's not that bad. Same shit with like Shrine of Amana. Same with, the only one that's bad is Lud Zallen, because the horses are just annoying. They spawn out of nowhere. You don't know where they come from. And there's the fog, of course, and it's just so hard to dodge their headbutt attack. Like, that's valid. That is objectively a terrible run back. Now, design, he's definitely better than both of them, design wise. So we'll do that. We'll put him right there. Benefit, I mean, you just get his soul, which you trade for the Bewitching Alone Sword. But that's like personal preference, which one you like more. The Sir Alone Sword, or Ivory King's Greatsword, or Fume Knight's Ultra Greatsword. That's just personal preference. Me personally, I like the Sir Alone Sword the most because it has a damn seppuku. So, but like in terms of more souls, I think Ivory King still gives you the most souls with the knights leading up to the boss fight. Now, in terms of fun, 100% for me, Sir Alone. He's just so much fun to dodge, to attack. He's just a lot more satisfying to fight against, especially considering his concept when he seppukus if you no hit him, which is like a nice challenge. It's like, oh, can I get this no hit? You know, if I do it, I get the reward. The satisfaction of seeing him seppuku, which is like it's dopamine, bro. You get hit with dopamine, okay? Challenge, I think Ivory King, I mean, he's still pretty tough. I think Ivory King is still harder. And just, not even just like the knights leading up to it. I think like him alone, his attacks are a lot more harder to dodge, especially his grab attack when he fucking... Like, bro, he takes forever sometimes. Or sometimes he does it quick, so you're expecting him to take long, but he just... Whee! Like he does it quick, like you thought. He fakes you out. So I think Ivory King is like honestly harder. I mean, his arena is cool. Sir Alone's arena is really nice. It's beautiful. The sunrise and the lighting in the background, and just the reflection of the floor, the tiles, just the aesthetic of the whole arena is amazing. Arguably better than Ivory King's arena, despite how beautiful his arena is as well. But Sir Alone's is a lot more simple, and it's a perfect space. To be honest, you could say Ivory King is better than Sir Alone. I wouldn't even be mad at you. That's pretty valid. But because I'm a little bit biased, I mean, I haven't been biased this entire video. I mean, maybe a little bit, a couple of times here and there, but I've made compromises. However, now I'm gonna be a little bit biased and say Sir Alone is better than Ivory King. But like, I would not care if you were to say Ivory King is first, or Fume Knight is first, or even someone else, which I don't want to spoil, but like I'll get to later on. Next, Skeleton Lords. Not much else to say. They're alright. They're pretty fun. The arena, however, is pretty nice. Pretty beautiful. Some cool designs in the arena. It's pretty spacious. I'm gonna say like C tier. If they made the actual Skeleton Lords a lot harder, and maybe come out in turns. There's 3 sitting on the throne. Like one comes out of his throne, you kill him. The second one comes out. And if they made them a lot more tankier, just more satisfying in general, then they would have been A tier for sure. Next, we got Smelter Demon, the red one. I don't think he's better than blue Smelter Demon, of course. He does actually no, he does look different. I don't even notice that much. His horns are like horizontal, whereas blue Smelter Demon is vertical. So that's cool. I think it's pretty much fair to put him behind. Yeah, blue Smelter. I think that's pretty much fair. His attacks are not as delayed. He doesn't throw you off as much. His arena is just as cool, honestly. The run back, I think, is even worse. I think, yeah, his run back is actually genuinely worse, because those damn Sir Alone Knights, they're fast. They're fucking fast. And if you try to hit the Grace, or I mean, if you try to hit the Fog Gate without killing any of them, they'll catch up to you. They're just as fast as you are as the player. All right, Dukes here, Freja. I love this boss so much, so much. This boss fight, one of the coolest designs for a boss arena, one of the coolest designs for a boss in general. The spiders are not even annoying, because once you kill them, they despawn for a certain period of time. They come back if the fight lasts long enough, but you have more than enough time to get rid of Dukes here Freja before they come back. But even if that's the case, you can just hold a torch and the mini spiders won't come after you. That eliminates that obstacle completely. She's so satisfying to fight. I don't know why. There's something about her when you hit her head, and especially when it pops off. You got the damn World Cup. That shit is so much fun, dude. Like, she's a very satisfying boss to fight, and the design is just peak. The only problem is she's a little bit too easy. No, I'm putting her like front of A tier. Not cinema, but front of A tier. I think that's pretty fair. She's definitely better than Old Iron King and everyone else here, in my opinion. Better than Blue Smelter, maybe not. Wait, why is Demon of Song in front of Blue Smelter? No, I'm putting Demon of Song back here. It's Blue Smelter. I gotta readjust this a little bit in 1 second. Honestly, no, I don't know why I put Blue Smelter at the end of A tier. I don't think I was paying attention. I think they're deadass at the front. I gotta readjust this. Yeah, they're deadass at the front. They're very cool. Very, very interesting looking bosses and designs. And their attacks are just so much fun to dodge. And they brought him back in Night Rain, so you know I love them even more now. Same with Dukes here Freja. That's funny enough. They're neck and neck. They're next to each other. And they both came back in Night Rain. Next on our list, Ron. I don't give a shit what anyone thinks. Alright, let me get down to it real quick. His design, peak. The run back, so easy. Bonfire is right there. Challenge, pretty easy. But he can be hard sometimes. He throws you off, you know. The benefit especially when you have the DLC. Let me emphasize why once again. There is no boss before Ron. I'm like the biggest advocate for Ron, by the way. He can literally be your first boss that you kill since you started your character. You go to the DLC, you get 6 ascetics without having to kill a single boss there. There's 2 in the chest next to the lightning clutch ring after you get the Eternal Sanctum key, and there's 3 on a corpse right before the Gank Squad next to the bright bugs, the 2 bright bugs. If you start off with 1, that means you have 6 in total. You get a bunch of Twinkling Tianites and Dragon Bones to reinforce whatever weapon you're using. You have the Tseldora set from Mullen. You kill this guy 6 times, you get more than a million soul memory. You go to Drang Lake because you can open up Shrine of Winter either by killing the 4 Great Lord bosses or by getting 1 million soul memory. You talk to Charles Xavier there, the Dark Covenant guy. That's the last location because you see him once before Ron. You see him once in Shaded Ruins, which there's no boss before. Once you see him for the 3rd time, you can join the Covenant, and he sells 10 more ascetics. You can then go back to Ron, use those 10 ascetics. You could deadass get level 220 or 215 just from killing Ron, just from killing 1 boss. It's so disgusting, and this is why I love DS2. It's so broken. The versatility in this game is incredible because you don't have to follow a specific route. The one thing they blessed us with, which is ascetics. You can abuse bonfire ascetics in this game. They honestly should make them harder to get. I don't know why they made the Dark Covenant guy, Professor X, Charles Xavier, sell 10 of them. Not only that, you can go in the Covenant, alright? You can farm the Blue Phantoms, which the only items they drop is bonfire ascetics. However, I will say, if you're playing vanilla and there's no DLC for you to go to Sunken and grab the ascetics to farm him, based on just his design and arena alone, and the challenge, probably not. I think he'd be high A tier. It's only because of that. The benefit is so crazy. It's even better than Giant Lords. People always comment in my videos, why don't you farm Giant Lord? Because Giant Lord requires you to have the King's Ring, the Ashen Mist Heart, which is so much later in the game. Ron, there's no boss before him. It's insane. It's so broken. Setting aside that, I think his design's still pretty cool. It holds up to the par. You know what I mean? His arena is cool. It's challenging. There's fire all around, so you got to be careful. Next, we got Throne Defender and Watcher. You know, originally I was going to put them cinema tier because they're pretty cool bosses. Like, their designs are peak. Their designs are amazing. It's challenging. It's probably one of the most challenging fights in the entire game. And I think it's pretty fair. Before Darklurker. The arena is the same shit as Nashandra and Aldia. They're fun. They can be tedious and annoying. They both hit you at the same time. You know, they can revive each other. So that whole concept is pretty cool. But yeah, all right, we got 2 more bosses to go. Twin bitches hopping off a jet ski. Definitely better than the normal Dragonrider fight. So I'll probably put him B tier, below Ancient Dragon. The arena is really nice, however, all the gold piled around is pretty cool. I like it when the Dragonrider with the halberd knocks down the pillars, which makes the bow and arrow one fall down, and then you could pretty much just hit both of them at the same time. It's so satisfying, I'm not gonna lie. And the last boss, big boy Velstadt. This big guy, he's good. He's going S tier. Without a doubt, this guy is an absolute cinema boss. His arena, his weapon, his armor, the cutscene, the fun, just everything about him is peak. Everything about him is phenomenal. He's just an extraordinary boss. Toughest part now is where do I put him? Definitely better than Looking Glass Knight. Definitely better than the Ron. As a boss, definitely better than Ron. So I think that's fair. These are like the 4, and this is the 4th one I was talking about, which you can arguably put ahead as first. He can low-key take any of their places in the DLC, and it would make sense. He could have easily been a DLC boss. His level of difficulty, I honestly find him more harder than Sir Alonne, I'm not even gonna lie. Sometimes more harder than Fume Knight. So the sad part is, in this reality that we live in, he's not a DLC boss. Because I think if he was, they would have gave him more outstanding elements. But he was still amazing, nonetheless. Giant Lord's gain is obviously better than Ron's late game. Just want to clarify that, I know that. But I'm just saying, like, I never farm Giant Lord in like most of my videos. Because by that point, I don't need to. I already have all the stats I want. Also, I didn't realize till after I was done recording that there wasn't Prowling Magus and Congregation on the ranking tier list, but I'd probably just put them in trash tier. Probably below Royal Rat Vanguard. Yeah, I could see why they were forgotten. Nothing much to them. They're cool, they're fun sometimes, but it's whatever. But yeah, that's it. That's all the bosses in Dark Souls 2. Scholar, they're first in. This is my tier list. I would say it's pretty solid. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments, if you would change anything in my list. But then again, this is all, you know, my opinion. Once again, I'll have the tier list video for ranking all my builds sometime soon as well. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. And yeah, fun little video. Thank you all for the support, all the love, all the comments. I appreciate it. All right, take it easy, ladies and gentlemen. Mi bomba.